Happy Valentine's Day or Galentine's Day, whatever kind of Valentine's Day that today is for you. Have a great day. Hi, I'm Teresa Youngkin. I'm a healthcare informaticist. You'll find me here every week, bridging the gap between technology and the business side, because when we can understand and talk to one another, we can build the best products possible. When it comes to health IT, I want to help you to elevate, to innovate, and to inspire yourselves and your teams. So you find me here talking about AI in healthcare. I talk about data initiatives. I talk about standards like FIRE. We need all of these things if we want to be good stewards of the data that has been entrusted to our organizations. Alrighty, let's get started. Big announcements this week, right? We've got the announcement of two more QHINs, Commonwealth and No2. HTI-2 is sitting at OMB, so the clock is ticking for the new updated rule. I think that's probably going to focus a little bit more on public health, um, around the availability of that data within the EHR. So it doesn't look like 2024 is going to slow down anytime soon. And let's be real, AI is not going away on top of it. Speaking of, if any of you are going to HIMSS, there is a full day of AI and machine learning that's taking place at HIMSS on the pre-conference day. I went last year. It was fabulous. It was worth my time, my energy, and my money. I have to say, I thoroughly enjoyed it. I came back enthusiastic, and it really gave me a thirst to learn more, and I learned a tremendous amount just being there. Okay, that's my plug. Let's get started with what we're doing today. Recently, I was having a conversation about data quality and how the use of bad data can, like, what effect that has on healthcare. And I was listening also to a podcast about that as well, about medical mistakes that happen in the workflow. And one of the biggest challenges I know that I've had in the past, and I'm a data governance professional, I've set up enterprise data warehouses and set up those governance programs in support of those data warehouses. One of the problems that you have when you're trying to set up that one-stop shop data mart is that the mistrust of the quality in the data that's populating that enterprise data warehouse can have a real effect on your organization. Um, for example, I had a nurse who was running a program around, uh, it was a program for new mothers. So she would get a report, she'd look through the report. And one day I come in and she's like, see, this is exactly what I'm talking about when we're having this conversation about, how's your day? What's going on? Little banter. This is what I'm talking about. I look down at the report and my heart drops. And I'm like, yeah, I can see that because I'm cheerleading along about how great this enterprise data warehouse is going to be. In this report that she got and list of patients to do outreach to, she notices that one of the patients, and I mean, God bless you if you can do this, many patients that are 64 years old are not of childbearing age. Like I said, if that's you and you're doing it, God bless you. I have to say, I'm looking at that, and as a data professional, I'm like, "Ugh," like this hurts. So I go back, we do the root cause analysis, and we find out that the intake forms have got, they can be a little bit confusing. So, like when you're keying in information on that form, it was making it very easy to miss key data. Data accuracy, what I just described, is one of the six data quality issues or pillars that we should always be focused on when we're talking about having good quality data within our organizations. So, accuracy, completeness, relevance, and granularity, consistency, right? If I go to the data warehouse, is that the same information I'm seeing in the EHR? um, Uniqueness. Do I not have duplications on my reports every time I run a report? And lastly, the timeliness of your data, right? Going back to the maternal thread here, a pregnancy test reading, right? Like an outcome or an observation for a pregnancy test is a great example of a piece of data that needs to be timely. And I'm not just talking about knowing for fertility reasons. I'm talking about for real treatment plans. If you're a physician and you're going to prescribe medication such as a biologic or an immunosuppressant, you want to know if your patient is pregnant or not, because it can have devastating consequences to the pregnancy. And going back to that conversation I was having earlier, we don't want to ignore data quality issues for a variety of reasons. I'm going to give you three of those. We use data, right? And we depend on that data quality when we're doing decision support intervention. Just a quick little, so that you remember, when I say decision support interventions, I'm talking about AI, where you've got AI included in when you've got AI as a mechanism within that decision support. We've got clinical decision support systems that are already incorporated in our EHRs. This just means that you've attached AI onto it. When I say decision support intervention, it's a new term that was brought forth in HTI-1. Okay. When we're using DSI, we want to make sure that we are doing good informed decision making, right data, right time, right format, right, to help the clinician make the next best step in the treatment of their patients. The second important area when it comes to having good data quality issues or when it comes to operational efficiencies. Like I told you before, like in the story with my nurse, she then gets the report, and every single time she's going to the case management system, she's going to the EHR to look things up. That reduces productivity and reduces the amount of patients that we can do outreach to. And actually, it reduces your bottom line, right? Your revenue, because you're doing rework that has a cost to it. And that cost does affect your departmental and your organizational bottom lines. Lastly, let's not forget the customer satisfaction. This is my favorite one. True story. So, beginning of the year, my daughter goes to her very first appointment. We just had got new insurance. And when we get there, the front desk person asked my daughter, like they confirm her name and birth date, demographic information. When they get to the birth date, we realize that they've transposed the last number of the day of her birth and the year that she was born. So that's incorrect. So the clerk changes it. I mean, months later, we go back to another appointment, and again, it's wrong in the system. And at this point, I'm getting the 14-year-old roll my eyes and tap my feet. I'm feeling like the 14-year-old rolling my eyes and tapping my feet because I know it should have been fixed. And I know that we gave that instruction before. It took a year and a trip to the HIM to make sure that it got changed. And why was that? It was because there's a separate form for the eligibility system that had to be filled out and then propagated through the system outside of the scheduling system. Who knew? I know now. So, customer satisfaction is a big thing because I'm not giving good customer satisfaction scores or upping the NPS score because I'm not getting great service, right? It's a barrier, it's a challenge, it's an abrasion for me. But, when I talk about AI and I talk about this data quality, AI is going to shine a huge, huge spotlight, like a big spotlight on data quality issues. Because if you're populating your internal LLMs, to run your co-pilots with inside of your organization, that data has to be clean. If you've got dirty data, just like I always say it, just like your computer science 101 course in your freshman year, garbage in, garbage out. And you're making a huge investment in AI and resources, time, money, and energy to stand up this initiative because we do know and we're seeing the efficiencies that can be derived from this technology. So we really need to think about how are we going to address this? And I will give you a strategy because it's not all doom and gloom here. But one of the best strategies that I've ever used has been data governance, right? That really helps you to address data quality issues. Because again, why? We want the highest quality data populating our internal large language models, and we need to produce an output that can be trusted. And we saw that that was a big concern of CEOs, global CEOs. I think it was 3,000 that the IBM study that I referenced last week had talked about. It's important. So it's important to strategy. It's important to execution that we have good quality data there. Okay, so what is governance? Governance are those agreements that are created and agreed to. So in our case, it would be what data are we collecting? When can it be collected? Uh, who defines the data, who stores the data, who's going to have access to the data, who's going to verify the data, where will that data be used? I know it's not sexy, but if you want to use that sexy AI technology, you're going to have to do this work because these really are kind of like the cogs in the gears, right? We have to have data quality if we want to have good machine learning algorithms and if we want to use AI to its fullest extent to benefit our end users. I've worked on many different data entry projects. I understand where there can be pitfalls when we talk about data quality. I did projects from collecting patient consents from non-native English speakers to explaining and obtaining consent for patients to enter programs, much like the New Mothers program, and also overseeing the collection and the consumption of medical records and verifying the outputs in the NLP, improving NLP in our organization. So gotta say I'm well versed at this and I really want to be solution focused here. Data governance is a easy way to kind of ramp up into that data quality realm. And as you think about it, data governance is one way that everybody can be involved because collaboration is very important in data governance. I'm going to talk about that another time. Uh, but the one thing I just want to end with this, the one thing that I do know for sure, is that no technology project is going to succeed, no matter how shiny the new tech is, if it doesn't bring value to the end user. Before we go, I want you to imagine this. What if, when I first came in with my daughter and we found out that her birth date was wrong, that the clerk had a little box that sat inside the registration module, that Copilot sat there, and they could type in any corrections that needed to be made to the patient record. And they could have entered patient's mother reports, date of birth is wrong. This is the correct date of birth. I now have given power to my end user to fix their problem. I, as the patient or patient representative, can feel that my problem is being addressed because as I'm walking over to sit down, ding, I get a little ding on my phone. And when I look down, there's a little box that says, hey, the front desk clerk said that you had an issue with the birth date of the data and it should be corrected to, and there's a date. Would you like to make this correction now? And I hit a button that says yes. And the beauty of this is that I now have solved a problem in the workflow of the front desk person. And I've also solved a problem in the patient workflow. Can you imagine what kind of patient satisfaction scores and employee engagement when both sides are getting their problems met with AI in their workflows? It's a possibility and it's happening. I'm going to leave you with that good piece of news. I'd like you this week, I'm challenging you guys, think about the small things that you can fix with AI. Like I said, changing that birth date in a way that's automated. And the beauty of that is if I say yes, that should be automatically routed to the right person in an electronic format so that they can just ingest it into their system, right? Because the verification's been done and we can use that person's time to solve other problems in healthcare. We can create other efficiencies there. So I just encourage you to think about AI this week and what you're going to do. And I'll catch you guys here again next week where we will be talking more about AI in healthcare. Have a great day.